Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra Chapter 46 Topics. This chapter describes Shama's trip to Kashi, Prayag, and Gaya, and how Baba, in the form of his portrait, was there ahead of him. Other one, it also describes Baba's reminiscence of the past birth of two goats. Preliminary, blessed, O Sai, are your feet. Blessed is your remembrance and blessed is your darshan, which frees us from the bondage of karma. Though your form is not visible to us now, if devotees believe in you, they receive divine experiences from you. By an invisible and subtle thread, you draw your devotee from far and near your feet and embrace them like a kind and loving mother. The devotees do not know where you are, what you want to accomplish, but you skillfully pull the wire so they ultimately realize that you are behind them to help and support them. The intelligent, wise, and learned folk fall into the pit of samsara on account of their egoism. But you save, through your power, simple and devout persons. You invisibly play games but show that you are not concerned with them. You do things and yet pose as a spectator. Nobody can ever figure out reasons for your actions. The best course, therefore, is for us to surrender our body, speech, and mind at your feet and always chant your name so as to destroy our sins. You fulfill the wishes of your devotees, and for those who are without any desires, you give bliss supreme, chanting your sweet name in the easiest means of salvation for your devotees. Through this, our sins vanish, the sattva qualities and righteousness gain predominance, and discrimination, dispassion, and knowledge are also attained. Thereby, we abide in ourself and our Guru, who are one and the same. This is what is called complete surrender to the Guru. The only sure sign of this is that our mind becomes calm and peaceful. The greatness of the surrender, devotion, and knowledge is unique, for peace, non attachment, fame, and salvation follow it. If Baba accepts a devotee, he follows him and stands by him day and night. Let the devotee go anywhere he likes. Baba is there ahead of him in some form and in an inconceivable manner. The following story illustrates this. Some time after Kaka Sahib Dikshit was introduced to Sai Baba, he decided to perform the thread, that is the Upanayana ceremony of his eldest son, Babu, at Nagpur. At about the same time, Nana Sahib Chandorkar's eldest son was getting married at Gwalior. Both Dikshit and Chandorkar came to Shirdi and lovingly invited Baba for these events. Baba asked them to take Shama as his representative. When he was pressed to come in person, Baba told them to take Shama with them and said, after visiting Banaras and Prayag, I will be ahead of Shama. Now mark these words, for they show Baba's all-pervasiveness. With Baba's permission, Shama decided to go to Nagpur and Gwalior for these ceremonies and from there to Kashi, Prayag and Gaya. Appa Kote decided to accompany him. They both went first to Nagpur for the thread ceremony. Kaka Sahib Dikshit gave Shama 200 rupees for his expenses. There, Nana Sahib Chandorkar gave Shama 100 rupees and his relative Mr. Jadar also gave him 100 rupees. The next stop was Kashi and then Ayodhya, where they were well received in Jata's beautiful temple of Lakshmi Narayan at Varanasi and in the Ram Mandir at Ayodhya by Jata's manager. They stayed for 21 days in Ayodhya and 2 months in Banaras. Then they left for Gaya. On the train, they were a little uneasy upon hearing that plague was raging in Gaya. At night, they alighted at the Gaya station and stayed in the local boarding house. In the morning, the Gayawala, the priest who arranges and provides for the lodging and boarding of the pilgrims, came there and said, the pilgrims have already started. You better come soon. Shama casually asked him whether there was a plague in Gaya. No, said the Gayawala. Please come without any fear or anxiety and see for yourself. Then they went with him and stayed in the house, which was big and commodious Vada. Shama was pleased with the accommodation provided for him. However, what pleased him the most was a large, beautiful portrait of Baba fixed in the central portion of the building. Seeing this portrait, Shama was overwhelmed with emotion. He remembered Baba's words, "After visiting Kashi and Prayag, I'll be ahead of Shama," and burst into tears. His hair stood on end. His throat was choked, and he began to sob. The Gayawala thought that Shama was afraid of the plague and was therefore crying, but Shama asked where he had got Baba's portrait. He replied that he had 200 or 300 agents working at Manmad and Puna Tambe to look after the convenience of the pilgrims of Gaya, and it was from them he had heard about Baba's fame. Then, about 12 years ago, he went to Shirdi and received Baba's darshana. While in Shirdi, he wanted Baba's portrait, which was hung in Shama's house, and with Baba's permission, Shama gave it to him. This was that very portrait. Shama then remembered this incident. The Gayawala's joy knew no bounds when he learned that the same Shama who had obliged him before was his guest. Then they were both very delighted. The Gayawala gave him a royal welcome as he was a very rich man. He treated Shama to a ride on an elephant and attended all his comforts and conveniences. The moral of the story is that Baba's words came true to the letter, and unbounded was his love for his devotees. He also loves all creatures equally, for he is one with them. The following story will illustrate this. The two goats. Baba was once returning from the Lendi when he saw a herd of goats. Two of them attracted his attention. He went to them and pet them and bought them for 32 rupees. The devotees who were with him were surprised at Baba's conduct. They thought that Baba had been duped in this deal, as the goats would fetch 2 rupees each, or at the most 3 or 4 each, so 8 rupees at the most for both. They began to take Baba to task for this, but Baba remained calm. Shama and Tatya Kote asked Baba for an explanation. He said he did not need to save money as he had no family or home to look after. He asked them to purchase, at his expenses, 4 seeds of lentils and feed the goats. After this was done, Baba returned the goats to the owner of the flock and told the story of the 2 goats. My dear Shama and Tatya, you think that I have been deceived in this bargain. I haven't. In their former birth, these 2 goats were human beings and had good fortune to be my companions. They were uterine brothers who loved each other at first, but later on they became enemies. The elder brother was an idle fellow, while the younger one was an active chap and earned a lot of money. The former became greedy and jealous and wanted to kill his brother and take his money. They forgot their fraternal relationship and began to quarrel with each other. The elder brother resorted to many deceits to kill his younger brother, but all of his attempts failed. Thus, they became deadly enemies, and finally, on one occasion, the elder dealt a deadly blow with a big stick on the latter's head, while the latter struck the former with an axe. They both fell dead on the spot. As a result of their actions, they were both born as goats. As they passed by me, I at once recognized them and remembered their past. Taking pity on them, I wanted to feed them and give them some rest and comfort. It is for this reason that I spent all the money for which you approached me. As you did not like the deal, I sent them back to their shepherd. Such was Sai's love for the goats. End of chapter 46. Om Sai Ram, Om Satchidananda Sadguru, Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai.